Hi everybody, and welcome to today's Faith Moment. So in a few weeks' time, we're going to be celebrating Easter. And what I want to do today is to look at why. What's God's big plan, big purpose? The death, the resurrection, the ascension of Christ is incredible. But why? What was he doing all that for? And what difference does it make for you and me today on what God's calling us to? And I've called it the river. And those of you who've known me for a while will know that I've spoken on this before, because it's deep, deep in my spirit that we're made for more than this. When I look at the church today, we're made for more than this. And in the last few weeks, I've shared a little bit of my own journey, a sense of calling on Iona. The reason I went to Nigeria in the first place was to ask God to give me something more, to help me with something more, to help the church here in the UK. Made for more than this, the river. The church, as we see her today, yes, she's beautiful. Yes, she's loved by God. The people, not the building, I mean, but there's meant to be more than this. There's meant to be more than this. I'm sure I've told you this before, I'm going to tell you again. When I was a young woman, when I was engineering still, and everything was great in my life. I loved my church, my friends, my family, everything was super. And I came down to pray one morning, and all I can describe was an overwhelming sense of dryness that went right through my spirit. And I cried out to God and I said, Father, what's happening? Why am I so dry? I'm parched. And I saw a vision of a land that was so parched. The ground was cracked with dryness, like you see in the African scenes in a drought. It was so dry. And I said, Lord, I'm so dry. What's going on? And the vision changed into a sense of narrative, story. I had to go to work because I would have been late and I had to clock on by a certain time. And then when I came home, I wrote it all down because it was just flowing inside of me. And in the vision, I saw a river, such a big river. And there was a dam at the bottom of the river holding the water back. And underneath the dam, there was a dry riverbed. And I was standing in the dry riverbed. And the riverbed was very wide where I was standing. And I realized that there were other people standing there with me. And then I saw that there were trickles of water, small amounts of water that were coming through the dam. And different groups were busy with buckets trying to collect the very small amount of water that was coming through in different places at the dam. And as they did that, they had their backs to each other. They were not helping each other. They had their backs around the trickle that they'd found because it was so important. And I remember in this vision, I was a young child, a young girl, and I was standing in this very big, very wide, dry riverbed. And I shouted at everybody. I said, can't you see? We're made for more than this. And nobody would listen to me. Can't you see we're made for more than this? Can't you see the size of this riverbed? Can't you see there's meant to be more water? Stop what you're doing with the trickles. There should be more than this. They wouldn't listen. In the dream, they told me that I was idealistic, young, black and white, and I probably am. But I thought, I don't care. I'm right. I'm right. And as I looked up, I saw the river. And I felt God say, come to me. Come to the source. There's more than this. You're made for more than this. And that's my dream and my heart for the church. It's my dream and my heart of what God wants to do in and through and with us. The church is made for more than this. We enjoy where we are. We thank God for what we are, but we're made for more than this. And that doesn't make us disgruntled where we are. You sometimes come across folks that are always crying out for revival, but not any earthly use where they are. No, you get stuck in today, you get stuck in now, you get stuck in prayer, but you get stuck in knowing that something else, there's more than this, and that God's got a bigger plan than this. Psalm 46. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore we will not fear, though the earth should change. All that's moved and changed around us, people say, oh, there's fewer people in the churches these days. And I think, I'm not afraid. God's our refuge and our strength, a very present help in trouble. He knows what he's doing. Though the mountains shake in the heart of the sea, though the waters roar and foam, though the mountains tremble with its tumult, all of that's true. But there is a river whose streams make glad the city of God, the holy habitation of the Most High. All the problems are true. All that's going wrong is true. All of that is true. But there is a river whose streams make glad the city of God, the holy habitation of the Most High. No matter how many stones and boulders there are, there's a river. There's a river that God is starting to release, and I believe he wants to release more of his Spirit. I've carried this in my heart all of my adult life, and I hope I'll carry it right to the pearly gates, and I hope I'll see more of it in action here. How does it affect today? Well, it's very, very practical, very, very practical. I remember in my church in Manchester, we were going through a particularly hard time as a church. A lot of people struggling, a lot of things difficult. It was very dry. And I remember I was just praying, and I said, Lord, I think it was my day off, and I just said, Lord, this is actually really, really hard. How on earth are you going to do anything about this? How are you going to change things? And I remember going for a walk, and as I walked, I came across a place where I like to walk up at Darwin, and there's a reservoir, and then there's a slipway of some sort. And as I came up, and I was crying out to God in my spirit, saying, but Father, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And I saw the water of the reservoir, and I just shouted out to God, there is a river. And I'm glad nobody else was there, because I was just shouting it at God, saying, there is a river, there is a river, there is a river. Deep within, he cried out. No matter how dry things look, no matter how difficult things look, there is a river whose streams make glad the city of God. Are we seeing it yet? We're seeing parts of it, small amounts. But the small trickles that we see are not the whole thing. So please be careful. If you found a trickle, be grateful for it, but don't turn your back to somebody else if they found a different trickle of water coming through, because it's not the thing. It's not what we're after. It's not the whole thing. There is a river, and we'll find that river as we journey together. Is it true? Yes. Again, I remember waking up one morning and I had a vision. This was back in Manchester. And in the vision, I was lying on the bottom of the seabed. Now it sounds strange. And the ocean was above me. And as I lay there, in my very engineering type mind, I started looking down at the sand underneath me, at the seabed. And I said, oh Lord, look at that. Look at how the porosity, the air gaps between the sand dunes get less and less as it goes deeper. I must have been doing something about engineering in my head. I said, look at how it changes as the sand gets deeper and how the water pressure increases. And I just saw this incredible amount of water above me, and it was so beautiful to see the ocean. And I was lying on the seabed looking up at this vast amount of water. And when I came downstairs to pray, my daily reading that day was that the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of God as the waters cover the sea. No matter what we're going through, no matter how things are, in a sense, I've seen what God is and what God is going to do. The earth shall be filled with the knowledge of the glory of God as the waters cover the sea. There is a river whose streams make glad the city of God, the holy habitation of the Most High. Where does this land us today? First of all, believe that there's more than this. We're made for more than this. Don't put up with your own spiritual life where it is, or our church's life, pray. Jesus said, if anyone's thirsty, let them come to me and drink. Out of their belly shall flow waters, rivers of living water. Doesn't matter what the person next to you is doing. You pray for your own life first, and pray until God allows the rivers to flow from your belly, from your very deepest part. And together, as a church, let's believe that we're made for much more than this. And God himself is and will show us. Amen.